Hi, welcome to the channel. So if you're looking at this and you're going, well, that's not very retro, then you're absolutely right. However, it's a very necessary tool to do the game revival part of the channel. See, this is my TS100 and yeah, it pretty much died. As in, it's still functional actually. However, the screen no longer displays anything. So I want to have a look at that today, and I figured, you know what, would be really cool to do that on the channel. Now, I got to be honest, I'm not 100% sure this is just faulty electronics or if this is my bad. See, when I just got it, I've accidentally dropped it, and you may be able to tell, but on the shell here next to my finger, it's got a huge crack, and yeah, the tip of it is also bent. Left a bit of solder blob on there, so I wasn't using this anymore, but I just kept it for sake of, you know, maybe one day I need it, because that bent tip actually did become useful in some instances. I also have a few other tips for this machine. So I went to look for a new one. I figured, you know, I just need a new one. Even if I want to repair this, I would need a soldering iron in order to, you know, solder a new screen on. So I went to look for a new TS100, but I found that they're a bit hard to find nowadays. At least when I got this one 2 years ago, I had a range of color options, right? So there was like a red one, you can buy replacement shells and all that, and I was looking for those, but I couldn't find it anymore. So just so happens at that moment, a friend of mine had sent me a message going, hey, you need to look at this thing. And what that thing was, it's a Pinecil by the Pine64 company. And this thing is pretty much a huge upgrade to the TS100. I believe this is made, the firmware is made by the same person that did this one. But the best part to it is this uses USB-C power delivery, or can use, and uses the exact same tips. So all the hardware that I've bought for the TS100, I can use on this thing. Now, obviously, I do kind of want to keep the TS100 as a backup device, just so that in the future, if this one breaks down, I can just revert to this one. So what I've done, and I bought a new screen. I'll show you this later, but you know, just to have something on screen. I bought a new screen, and I want to try and use this one as sort of a review, or you know, at least getting to try it the first time on camera to install a new screen in this. So let me get set up, and we'll have a bit of a closer look at this first, and then we'll get to replace this one. So first of all, packaging. It actually does look really neat. When first glancing at it, what I really liked about this is the silicone, or at least it feels like silicone, the holding area. See, my personal issue with the TS100, even though I love this thing, is that when you're holding it, you have the tendency to accidentally press the buttons or do something in the menu or whatever. And yeah, it's just not, from an ergonomic point of view, it's not as comfortable, the TS100, as this is. It just feels better. Mind you, I haven't tried it yet. We're going to do that in a bit. But that was like one of the main things that made me instantly want to get this. The next part is, so for the TS100, I did have this 12 volt 6 amp power adapter. The leads are a bit short, however, so I was always sort of juggling putting this block in the right place, and you know, you get used to it over time, but there's obviously better ways of doing it. This thing can use quick charge 3.0 power delivery. So I have a quick charge wall wart here that I can just plug in a USB-C cable into, and it should actually function just the same. Now, one thing I do have to mention is don't use any USB-C cable. I happen to have this one that I'm going to try it with, but this is a woven cable, so if the tip accidentally hits this, it will melt through. So you're probably best off just trying to find a USB-C cable that has silicone sleeving, which I will definitely do. But you know, it being the end of the year and just trying to get a hold of that just for the video, that was going to be, yeah, just wasn't going to work out. So I'm going to try it with this just for now, but I will upgrade that. Yeah, the last thing I should also mention is that I was incredibly lucky when this was online. When I saw it, I didn't even think about it. I bought it. It was $25, and I think it turned out to be like 30 euros because I am in Europe. 30 euros shipped. So even for a TS100, if I'd come across it for that price, I would have bought it, just flat out bought it. But this thing just happened to be on the day it was released for sale. I came across it and I instantly bought it. I did post it in some Discords and send it to some friends. They waited on it and the next day it was gone. So yeah, I feel really, really lucky to get this. It only took about 2 weeks after the shipping notification for it to actually arrive here. So yeah, let's get set up, and I can't wait to try this out now. All right, I'm all set. I've got my power supply hooked up to the quick charger. I have cut the screen from the bottom foam, which is glued down, so it's held in place. And I've set up my favorite tip on the Pinecil. So this is a BC3 tip. I use that for almost everything. One thing I immediately found straight out of the box is the housing, the shell for this has these little, I'm not sure if you see, has these little feet. So anywhere I place this, it's gonna level. And oh my God, that's 1,000,000 times the improvement over the original, because however you place the original, it would always tip over. But yeah. Let's get going with this. I have my replacement screen here. I'm going to put that to the side for the moment. Put it here. And I'm going to plug this in, power it up, and we'll see what happens. Ah, yes, that's a bright screen. I almost forgot how that worked. It says DC low. Ah, damn it. So I'm guessing this is not a quick charger, is it? All right, so I've plugged in my AC adapter. I'm gonna try this one out. I'm pretty sure the other one, the DC low issue, yeah, it's giving me 12 volt. Oh, it actually says how much. So previously it said 5 right here. So this is good. I think the other one is just a problem with that cheap wall wart quick charge converter. Wouldn't surprise me if it's not actually quick charge. Yeah, let's turn it on. That's some serious quick ramping up. This is real time. That's amazing. I don't think my TS100 did it that quickly. So yeah, can definitely smell the tip heating up. And I must say, it's really comfortable holding it in my hands. So clean the tip for a moment. And yeah, let's give it a try at desoldering the screen. Now I just realized I forgot to grab my flux and my solder. So give me 1 second, please. All right, yeah, I'm going to be honest. I was very eager trying this out, so I forgot a bit of setup here. But got my solder here. Let's see. So, yeah, seems to actually be proper temperature. And let's give this a go. I'm just going to add some solder onto these pins just by reflowing. So there we go. And I'm going to use a bit of flux, and that's going to hopefully keep the heat on there a bit or long enough in order for me to just take off the whole screen as a unit. Come on. Here we go. Bits of flux. I'm hoping this shows up on camera and my hands aren't blocking. And there we go. So the screen got off. Let's just clean this up for a little bit. And this should actually be enough solder to reattach the new screen. So I'm perfectly pleased with that. I really like that if you lay it down, it just stays stable. That's really good. Right, so grab the other screen and just so I don't burn myself, put this to the side for a moment. And if I were to lay it down like this, this should be perfect. So yeah, let me put a bit of solder onto my tip. Here we go. And we're gonna hold this one in place. Again, hoping this shows up on camera and my hands aren't blocking it. Like that. Should line up. Now I'm not sure if I attached that properly. I'm gonna have to grab my magnifying glasses. I think it's off. Yeah, it's a tiny bit off. Let's try and get this off again. Same way we did with the other one. It's getting there. Here we go. All right, let's go for attempt number 2. Now this is obviously, it's got some solder attached to it. So this should attach relatively quickly. Here we go. Yeah, now it's aligned properly. Much better, much better. I think we're done. So I have nothing to add to the Pinecil. I'm really, really loving it. So screen done. let me reassemble this and we'll power it up and see if this screen works again. Alright, so I've reassembled it, and this is what I was meaning earlier. So this one doesn't have the little pegs, so if you put it down, it just falls to the side, and yeah, the tip is very close to the surface wherever you put it. This right here, yeah, that's really good, and you can actually see it ramp up. So if you leave it long enough, it goes into its sleep state and ramps the power, the heat down to 150 degrees. So let me turn this one off, if I know how. For now, I'm just gonna unplug it. Just gonna put it off to the side, because what I'm really curious about is if this screen has come back to life, and if so, then, you know, I'll have a great backup soldering iron, because I'm going to be using the Pinecil moving forward as my main one. So, moment of truth. And sure enough, and as you can see, it's also considerably slower in ramping up the heat. So holding these two turns it off. Yep. I'm really happy that this works again, though. If I forgot anything about the Pinecil, I'm sure I'll bring it up in future episodes. If you've got any questions, then please feel free to put them down in the comments. I'm reading all of the comments, and I'm actually pretty pleased with how the community is shaping up. I'm very close right now to 700 subscribers, so that's going to be a milestone. I thank you so much for supporting my channel, and as always, happy gaming.